anniversary limited edition fold of 4 Beer My Fear. Inside we have the band, the personnel, a collage of pictures by the band back in the day, and on the back, which makes the album juicy, we have the original album up here at top with all the original songs, and over to the side C and D, we have all the alternative versions, rough mixes, and unreleased tracks. Yes! Now, I'm not going to be reviewing those songs because we already know those songs. I'm going to be reviewing these songs because, wow, just let me tell you straight up, I spent $60 on this album, mainly for that signature right there. I love leaving. I wanted to get a signature on that because it's kind of cool to have an autograph of someone who I look up to in life. And, damn! When those say rough mixes and alternative mixes, they're not lying. Check this shit out. The two songs that you just heard were 1, Acid Rain, which is an early version of Have a Beer with Fear, and 2, Have a Beer with Fear. Just look how much that song changed. You can obviously tell where it came from, but I love both versions of the song. Acid Rain's on a more edgy note, it's obviously raw, and it's just more sounded like Leaving was fucking drunk off his ass when he recorded that shit. You know, I'm so glad I own this. This is the perfect example of why I bought this record, because I love all those alternative early rap demos. I just love the way they sound. They're always going to be good no matter what. Even if it's just even if they're just fucking around, it's always going to be good. Even sometimes comical just to hear, you know, hey guys, let's do the song. You know, just doing it. It's always going to be a good time. Now obviously that was the song Hey. Now let me be clear, that rough mix is definitely what takes the cake with this. However, I know on the original album, Leaving in Fear, they were going for more of a punk/metal type of sound, so I understand why the rough mix didn't make the take. However, I'm a hardcore punker before I'm a metal guy, and just the rough mix of Hey sounds just more fierce, more raw, just more, you know, it just sounds a lot better in my opinion. If this would have been a hardcore punk album with no metal influence, then I honestly think they probably would have taken Hey. But I'm so glad they included it on this because it is fucking awesome.
As long as we're headed that way, we might as well bomb Gaddafi and Khomeini while we're at it. It'd be more economical, like carpooling. Never get to you. Never see who buries who.
Now, obviously, when it comes to Bomb the Russians, the rough mix takes the cake instrumentally. Not vocally, because you can barely hear what Lee Ving is saying throughout the entire song, which they corrected that on the version of the song that we hear on the actual album itself. Now, honestly, I wish the dialogue at the end of the rough mix was included on the song on the main album, because that would have made it 10 times better. And honestly, I kind of wish they would have taken the instrumental, the fierce instrumental that you hear on the rough mix. I kind of wish that would have been on the actual Bomb the Russians song, just and maybe with angrier lyrics, because that would have just completed. I mean, I fucking love that song. That's actually one of my favorite songs by Fear, for that matter, because I just love it. I mean, it's perfect for 1985 when this came out. But yeah, I love Bomb the Russians. You know, both tracks are really good, and I'm really glad they included it on this album. Now, I'm not going to do a side-by-side comparison review of every track on this album because that would take forever, and honestly, I want you to listen to this album on your own. But I'm going to play for you Welcome to the Dust World because the side D contains an unreleased alternative version of the song.
2, 3, 4. Welcome to the Dust World. Brain damage, but it's only permanent. Hang out in the day room in the straight jacket set. With the straight jacket set. Yeah! That's what happened. That's what happened. That's what happened. That's what Welcome to the Dust Ward. Brain damage, but it's only permanent. And I hang out in the day room with a straitjacket set. With a straitjacket set. Yeah! That's what I'm in the. That's what I'm in the. That's what I'm in the. That's what I'm.
Alright, so I've played back-to-back comparisons of some rough mixes versus what actually made it to the official album, and I gotta say, for a lot of these songs, the instrumentals of the rough mixes, as well as sometimes the lyrics, the way the vocal sounds, the rough mixes take the cake for the most part for me. But at the same time, a lot of the rough mixes you can barely hear what Lee Ving is saying, which is different compared to the actual album where it sounds perfectly fine. There's not a moment where you can't hear Lee Ving. I mean, sometimes when he's singing, when he's singing like that, you can't make out what he's saying. But for the most part, More Beer has a very sound and solid fluid to it. You know, it's a perfect fucking album the way it sounds. But I kind of wish it did have the raw edge that a lot of the rough mixes had, which Bomb the Russians is my main example. The rough mix of that song just blows you fucking away with the instrumentals, whereas, and obviously you can't really hear what Lee Ving is saying, but you can hear what he is saying clearly on the official version. Welcome to the Dust Ward is another example I have for you. Welcome to the Dust Ward on the rough mix is very all over the place, chaotic, noisy. There's metal solos just going left, going right, that is all over the place, whereas the official album version is more clean, it's more fluid, it's slower, it's not as, it's more just kind of classical metal, if you will, which I know, again, the metal punk sound is what Fear was going for with this album, so the songs that made it to the official album, I understand, and you know what, it's a fucking good album. Fear More Beer is my favorite Fear album. I actually prefer it over The Record, believe it or not. I love Fear More Beer. It's an equal offender. It's Lee Ving pushing buttons, and it sounds fucking awesome. You know, I have a Fear hat. I love Fear in general. You know, the only record by Fear that I don't generally care for is the Fear record, which most Fear veteran fans say the same thing. I'll talk about that at a later date. But I just really wanted to give you my opinion and some small clips of the 30th anniversary limited edition of More Beer with Fear. Because, damn, this album is fucking awesome. And I got an autograph too. Which, by the way, I wanted to say before I end this video, I'm going to be using my other record player, not this one because this one's an antique. I'm going to be using my other one to actually rip Side C and Sides D to MP3 format because I can't find them anywhere. This is a very limited edition record, and it makes sense that they're not really on the internet. And I would just record it with my iPad, but you know, these songs are so damn good that I'm going to get the highest quality sound available, and I'm going to try to rip this vinyl and release it so that other Fear fans can also enjoy it, because this is fucking awesome. And if you're a Fear fan, if you just love hardcore punk, you need to have this in your digital library. And go to fearleaving.com and buy the other albums, and if this is still available, it was available all year last year. In fact, I wanted to originally buy this in like January or February of 2017, and I finally got it in November of 2017 because it was a $65 album, and well, I didn't really have a lot of money last year because I went to the Philippines, which I'm going back there. I'm just glad that I own this, but I'll leave a link in the description to where you can buy this, and eventually, I have a punk rock YouTube channel named Anti-Patriot009. I upload lots of punk rock albums to it, and when I get the time and I will vinyl rip sides A, B, C, and D, the entire thing. I will vinyl rip it, and I will upload it so that everybody can enjoy it. But until then, I'm Anarka. Akaza. Thank you so much for watching this video. I know this is a bit longer than my other ones, but there's just so much to talk about with this one. I would have actually done a side-by-side comparison of every single song on this album, but no, I want just to give a small preview so that you will go out and do that, because this is a fucking awesome album, and I'm so honored to own it. Grandpa Leaving, love you so much. Thank you for making such a great album. You are a chick. Which, hey, it's been 18 years. I understand you came out with the Fear record in 2012, but it's been 18 whole years since you actually came out with something original by Fear. Where's it at? I mean, they've been playing some live shows. Come on, Grandpa Lee. I know you're really old in your 70s now, but come on. Crass is doing new shit. You can too. Which I know there's no fucking comparison to Crass and Fear. That's like two different worlds there, but anyway, I'm Anarka. Thank you for watching this video. Comment down below, tell me what you think. And those Fadanya.
Wait, Philo, were you talking to me?
No, really, we could do this song. You made that up. Really, we could play it. I got this great song. You made that up.
I tell you what, I think Philo needs to go over there.
Play that again. Yeah, come back. Wait, spit. Listen to this. Listen. Spit,
Philo, would you read this?
Philo, can I have a cigarette? Hey, Philo, you're not from here, are you?
Wait a second. No, really, this is a good song. It's really easy to learn. I can teach it to you right now. It goes, hey, Lee, I got this great song. Trust me.